says you're live.
We're live. We are live. We just got a weird message, but we're live. SFMF Live, Monday night. Tricked y'all. Some of you saw the community post last night. We put kind of late. It was, no, I didn't forget my daughter's birthday, but it was our baby's birthday. So we did get caught up, spent the evening traveling around town. She had a couple different requests, and she's the baby, so she gets whatever she wants. And we ended up being out late. So the community posts, those of you who don't see them, start checking them out, because that's where the producer puts stuff like that when we change things up, like we did last night.
When you demand stuff at the last minute?
I don't demand anything.
Yes, you do.
Just demand respect, that's all. And we are.
I have witnesses.
What's up, Ray? 745, my friend. 1775 Marine Corps. URAH. Checking in. Skylar checking in. Annie Banani. URAH. You spelled it wrong. Annie Banani. We're live. SFMF Monday night. It is Monday night. Some of you might be, is there a football game on tonight? Who's got time for that? Chala checking in. So proud to be back. Just checked in for a second here. Getting back to my workout late night. Get after it. Keep getting after it, Chala. Keep working out. Never stop. No days off. Remember that 1% better every day. Jared's here. Back to the bush. Good to see you. Good to see you, Jared. Carl Green, all present, counted for. URAH. Jordan, good evening, Sergeant Major. I found a couple motivation. I had a couple motivation this morning, which is coffee, and then I went to the gym. Got more motivation. Now I'm here for even more for my week. Sound check. What are you looking at? You're looking at, she's looking at my sound, my microphone. How we doing on sound? Sound and video. Look at, there's a producer right there. Let me turn the camera.
No, don't. Stop it.
How's it look? How's it sound? Skylar says, hope our Monday was good. My Monday was good. Had the day off today. Got a lot of things accomplished though. On, you know, men, you know what your day off means. A to-do list, right? A honey-do list. That's what I've been doing all day. Lima Charlie. All right. Loud and clear, says Carl Green. Well, good. This is a new mic, and you moved it in a weird spot. Does it have to be right there?
Well, because it's rubbing against your neck and making noise.
All right. So Monday night, we will wait for a few people before we get started. A couple good topics to talk about. Still, it is the holiday season. Christmas. Yes, and we say Merry Christmas around here. Christmas is coming up. Holidays are coming up. Talk about recent pay raise for the military. And even, yes, after you retire, you still get that pay raise. Military retirement is awesome. Those of you that are active right now, stay in and hit that 20-year mark. Comes quick. It comes so quick. Stay for more. Ashitsu is here. Hello to you. What is my least favorite food? Does it look like I turned down any food at all? I love food. I found my Grooves channel. Hey, 42 Farm. What's up? Yeah, got him. Lay Cookie, brother. What's happening? Got something for you later in the show. Lay Cookie. Good. Cha-ching. Ever seen unexplainable miracles out there in the field? Is that a real question? Because I'll tell you, seen some crazy things. Manakam, good evening. What are you looking at? Why you keep on blowing? How's it sound? Is the sound not good? Manakam, good evening. Good to see you, brother. And happy birthday to the youngest Cece. You hear that, youngest Cece? You know, the baby of the family is always a special child, usually the best one. I'm the youngest of my family. Maybe, I don't know where she gets that from. All right. What do you got for me? A blank rank sticker.
Blank rank.
So funny for everyone else in the crowd. We were at the exchange a couple years ago now. All of us old timers that were all in together, our first enlistment. Okinawa together, then Camp Pendleton together. So we had a little reunion At Camp Pendleton, we're on base, looking at all the moto gear, the URAH. And we came across all kinds of stuff. All the exchanges have great moto gear. Some of it's repetitive. You see it all the time. You see it in the Sergeant Grip magazines in the moto. Some of it's pretty cheesy, but some of it's pretty cool. Anyway, we were looking at all the mugs. And who was there were corporals. They were all corporals when they got out. So we were looking for Lake Cookies mug. And we didn't find it. Oh, no, we did. It was a blank mug. Just had Eagle Globe and Anchor on one side and nothing on the other side. You've seen those moto mugs, Eagle Globe and Anchor, or the rank on both sides. Captain, sergeants, where they drink their moto juice out of. We found one for Lake Cookie. It had nothing on it. All right. Where is, do we need our band hammer out already? Got a bunch of idiots on here. Your shirt. Oh, no, you're talking about a shirt. Yes. Yes, a whole bunch of clowns. All right, so tonight, talking about a couple cool things. First one is the pay raise. Pay raise amongst our service members. We get it every single year, and I've seen it as low as 0.5%, and I've seen it as high as, I think, 4.5 is the highest I've ever seen it. And it, does it affect you overall? Is something you shoot for and you look forward to? I don't know. Some of us, no, I haven't seen it. I think we had a 6 point something. Anyhow, it's a percent pay raise over the years. Happens every year. I don't know what it's based on, and I don't know the finances of the world that great, of the United States, but it does affect our service members. And how they come up with that number is probably pretty crazy. I'm sure there's an entire team of it. I'm sure it's going to change over the next 4 years, and it's going to be good every year. But I've had some good ones, I've had some bad ones over the years. This year, in particular, happens to be great. We're letting everybody catch up because it is Monday. We've never been on a Monday Night Live before, but we are tonight. So let's we're pretty good on the roll call. Randall Knapp is here. Good evening. Greetings from Mother Russia. Yo, Tom. Worshiping. Hello from Scotland. You're all over the place. West Scotland. Guns. Corn Pop wants to see some guns. Maybe later. Where else we calling from? All right. Menachem. I'm really hungry though, Menachem. You must have PT'd. Did the drill instructors punch you in boot camp? Because that's what DIs do. They punch recruits. Marty here from Long Island, New York. Crazy times in New York right now. Maybe. Think the next to get a sign here, something on your signature, or because I would like to have a memento from you because you're a good person. Man, I kind of mumbled through that one, Jordan. Went by fast. Hello from Kentucky. I see making progress. Long time no see. How are you? Shalom Tabe. Menachem. Thank God Daniel Penny was acquitted. Amen to that. Now they should be working on an awards board to see what level of award they're going to give him. And they were talking about, I just heard it today, the something gold medal. I can't remember what it's called. But yes, thank God. I have been following that. For those of you that don't know, former Marine, was in the subway. This crazy guy came on, was threatening. That crazy guy said specifically these words, someone's going to die tonight. And he started messing with people on the subway. And Daniel Penny, again, former Marine, acted quickly, like people are afraid to do nowadays because who knows why. He acted quickly, subdued this guy. Subdued him. They called the cops, the next station. The cops were there. He ended up dying from how he was subdued. And of course, they arrest him. Everyone's all up in arms. He killed it. And all of a sudden, you heard, as I told the whole story, you don't know what color anybody is. But once he got found not guilty today, now everyone's up in arms and it's a racial topic. So who knows? Hopefully they maintain their composure in New York. Daniel Penny, this dude saved other people's lives. So yes, he is a hero in my book. Laycook, it's a travesty that Penny was ever even taken to trial. That's what I'm saying. Why was he? It should have never, and this is going to follow him for the rest of his life still. He didn't mean to kill the dude. That's what happens. And I don't want to sound cold, but play silly games, win silly prizes. It should have never happened. The situation, had he not gone in there acting like a fool, maybe this wouldn't have happened. But either way, he's a hero. He put his own life on the line to save others. One, that's what Marines do. That's what good people do. So good on him. But hopefully it's dropped and he never has to hear a thing about it. Of course, some crooked lawyer somewhere is going to try and bring it back to trial. He talked about double jeopardy. Can it not be? The jury was in deadlock for a while. Then they dropped the manslaughter cases. It's a mess. Sounded like it. But why was he even there? Look at Corn Pop. Danny Penny is a hero. Orthodoxy death. Were you in the military? Yes. Menachem, it's about time a real man stands up and protects women and children. That's what you would expect anyone to do. And I'm guessing 30 years ago, that was the norm. In the 80s, 90s, right? Try that somewhere else. Try that on the street. Anywhere you would, yes, people stuck up for each other. They helped each other. Nor was there this much freaking chaos altogether. There you go, Carl. Let's click the thumbs up, peeps. Like and share. Double tap the screen right now. Hey, can you do a booklet? I'm a prison guard. Jason Armstrong, prison guard. What do you think about this situation? What do you think about that as a guard, as a cop, I'm telling you, I haven't heard of anyone else say it was right there, Navy Marine Corps medal, perhaps. I don't know if they still can because he's out. Randall, I think there's a civilian equivalent to that. Man, it was called something gold, like a civic gold medal or something. I'm not sure what the first part of it, but I think it says gold medal. All right, so good. I'm glad y'all are following that. Again, I hope they're waiting on the mayor to address the community to make sure everybody stays calm. It was the jury was selected from his peer group, so there's nothing really anyone can say about it. All right, perhaps the equivalent. I think so too, Randall. I think it's a equivalent to a Navy Marine Corps medal, which is very hard to get. I've seen 2 given out in my career. Those are tough to get. A life-saving medal in non-combat. That's what the Navy Marine Corps medal is, and it's very hard to get. I believe you're thinking about the Medal of Freedom. Maybe, Menachem. I overheard it. I was listening to someone covering it, and I remember them saying gold medal. I'm not sure. I guess we'll see here in a couple of days. I think the president can award freedom medal one freedom medal per year. It's a civilian medal. And we'll see. We'll see, but I agree. And again, some of the people interviewed were saying the same thing. Should have never went to trial, like Laycook said. Why was he ever even arrested and charged with anything? So we will see. Doc Holiday, what's happening, brother? How was the birthday? It was good. We did. We kind of just toured around, went to a couple different places, bookstores. She loves to read. We visited a bookstore. We can spend all day in there, had some good chow at the Cheesecake Factory. Oh, yeah. It was good. It felt like it was everyone's birthday. But we enjoyed it, and it was the entire afternoon into the evening, so we definitely missed the live. All right. You can be given a medal from USMC anytime. Is that true, Corn Pop? What is URAH? URAH is motivation. That's what it is. Who asked that? The internet. Hang out. You'll hear it. You'll see it. URAH is motivation. Carl, what's up? Living to read a lot. Hobby, good for her. I'm telling you, Menachem, she reads 2 and 3 books at the same time. And she even rereads a book that she's already read. She's read more books now than, I guess I don't want to say, is I've read in my lifetime. And she's still a teenager. Would you redo the Crucible if given the opportunity again? Streamline Dub. Here's what I'll tell you about the Crucible. I never even did it. I'm a pre-Crucible Marine. I think it was official, like 94, 95 maybe? It had to be 95, 96. So anyone that came in before that didn't run a Crucible. Now all of you are called Crucible Marines. And I've talked about it before, how I felt about it. In the beginning, I was against it. I was on a team of drill instructors. I was on the depot at the time, and they were trying to decide what could be a culminating factor for Marines. What's that one thing that they do for recruits that transition from recruit to Marine? And that's all the brass came up with the Crucible. So they have that moment that they really feel like they're a Marine. As drill instructors, we were against it because our point was if we just held them to the standard, even raised the standards and didn't let them graduate if they didn't meet every single standard, then kick them out. So that culminating event that made them a Marine was graduation. That's what walking across a parade deck, being called a Marine for the first time in 3 months. That was enough. Because too many times, and I remember at graduation, every single cycle I graduated, or coming close to it, the good ones, the motivated cadets would be like, sir, I don't mean to be rude, but why is he graduating? He didn't do this, this, or this. He was on light duty all the time. He was in sick bay, whatever. So again, our point was hold everyone to the standard, hold them accountable. Don't let anyone skip. That's a culminating factor. So would I do the Crucible? Yes. Not redo it, because I've never done it before. I was part of the engineer company that helped build it in San Diego at Weapons Field Training Battalion. So I did get to do that. I did participate. Bryce Wilbur, pre-Crucible 2. I didn't know what you were talking about at first. I'm telling you, it's new. But now, years later, again, I was against it as a young drill instructor. Now I'm for it. I think it's great. I've heard nothing but good things about it. They hike up the, top of the Reaper, the Eagle Globe and Anchor ceremony when they hand them, it's touching. Got it. Those recruits bust their butt for it, and it turns out to be, I think it's great. I think it is. I haven't heard anything bad about it. I don't know about the attrition rate, or do some get, what's the injury rate of it, because they go food deprivation, sleep deprivation, 4 days. I don't remember that, it was 96 hours or something of grueling teamwork, motivation. I think a lot goes into it. And hopefully it has gotten better over the years. Corn Pop, my Crucible was a tour of combat. Hurrah. That's all of us old timers. Jonathan Watson, hurrah. I'm back in the live chat. Welcome back, Jonathan. Hurrah. What was the smallest Marines that missed the rest of it? Many recruits get injured in the Crucible. I imagine so, Menachem. I don't know the stats. I haven't heard about it.
You see Jake Austin's there?
Jake Austin, Texas. If I get Social Security, could I ever join the Marine Corps? If I get Social Security, could I ever join the Marine Corps? Why not? If you get a Social Security card, Social Security number, remember, was that what you were missing, Jake? OG, Semper Fi, brother, good to see you. All right, please put America first. Am I active duty? I am retired. JD, era, even spelled it right. Short recruits were often fast runners. So the short ones, every height, that's what it was. And again, as a drill instructor, I figured it out. You'd have your company lined up, your platoon lined up, tallest to shortest, sized up, so it looks good. Then I have them all do an about face and let the little end lead the height. So they didn't have to run the whole time. But it's interesting. It is a matter of physical fitness. that small 100-pound recruit is carrying the same amount of gear as that 6'6" guy. Only difference is a little heavier because his boots are bigger, his helmet's bigger, his flak jacket's bigger, whatever he's wearing. So the weight, point being, that smaller recruit is carrying the same amount of weight as the big guy. So physical fitness. What do we talk about? What do you need before you go to boot camp? Physical fitness and mental toughness. Jonathan, I'm one of the tall guys in the front. I know my short friends enjoyed being in the front. I'm telling you, the little end loved it when I turned them around. How old do you have to be here? Just have to have some motivation and maturity. You see, all the clowns already left. Carl Green, yes, there was a Crucible conducted in '77. It was just before graduation of boot camp. Was it really? Some sort of Crucible, Carl? Similar to what they do now? Fitness. We saw female Marines totally cop out in 1990, but still got in the USMC. The Crucible, you must be talking about corn pop. Nephew had to lose a few extra pounds, right? The fat bodies, you could say it. The red strappers, do they still do the red stripe? As soon as you got to boot camp, if you were overweight, they put 2 big red stripes across your sweatshirt. Leg cookie, short ass legs screwed him, but I still carried that 60 pounds. Or no, the 60. That's who we made the 60, carry the 60, the shortest guy, because they have intestinal fortitude. That's what Leg Cookie had. What's one piece of advice you would give a 20-year-old that's lost? First of all, stay on this channel. That's what we do. We help everybody. We don't assume everyone here is going in the Marine Corps or the military in general. It's just about motivation, serving each other, discussing things that will help you, a 20-year-old that's lost. 20, I'm assuming you graduated high school. Look at military service. That's what we recommend. Hang out here, ask some questions. Let us know what you're thinking. Force march in ITR was a killer. I ran the whole way. You must have short legs. Force marches are good. I really do think it's important. In boot camp, they used to do a 3-mile, 5-mile, 7-mile, and a culminating 10-mile. They don't do it anymore. I'm not sure what the 4 hikes are, forced marches, but I think they do help. They teach you, one, how to pack your gear. If you don't pack everything tight, you don't try it on, you don't cinch all the straps down, buckle whatever can be buckled, you'll feel it later. You might not feel it in the very beginning. Everything's great, you're fresh, but mile 8, 10, 12, the packs are rubbing, the straps are rubbing in the wrong spot. Down low, you don't have the whatever. Boots weren't tied tight enough. You didn't do the 2-sock trick. I don't know how many of you did it. Our drill instructors told us 2 pair of socks, not just 2 pair of boot socks. He had us put on our dress socks first, the thin nylon ones, and then the boot sock over that. So instead of the boot sock rubbing on your skin, the boot sock was rubbing on the dress sock. Beautiful. Barely had any blisters in boot camp. And I carried that all through my career. Would always wear dress socks first and then boot socks over that. And you can tell the difference. If it was an 8 shorter hike, 5, 10 miles, I sometimes I wouldn't, but 100% always wish I did. You start feeling that hot spot. And change your socks. When you go on those long hikes and they say, okay, stop, adjust your gear, change your socks. A lot of you don't feel like changing your socks because you're too tired. You'd rather just sit there and chill. Change your socks. Use that energy. Change your socks. Once your feet go down, you're useless. You can't walk, you can't hike, you can't run. Useless. JTB, you never taught us that sock trick. Guy, I wanted you to suffer, JT. I can't believe I didn't, for real. Because those are short hikes, 3, 5, and 7 miles. Easy. My ideal weight after boot camp, 175. Weighed 155. That's good. My drills aren't really, I missed it. Right, these are going quick. Sorry, JT. The comments are going quick. Got a lot of you on here. Stockton, appreciate you. I saw You see that, producer?
Oh, nice.
Appreciate it. Reference, 6'2", 185 pounds. Stockton, 6'2", 185. So you're tall and lean, right? 185, 6'2", all right. You know what, JT, we're always in the front. I'll tell you a funny story. In one of our hikes in the back, it wasn't that platoon. I don't think it was that platoon or that company, JT. But this one, they told us, you know, dog and pony show. Dog and pony, for those of you that don't know, that means you dress everything up and you do some things that you don't normally do. I absolutely despise dog and ponies. If someone's coming to visit my unit, I want them to see how they act, and what the unit looks like, what the company office looks like, what the army looks like on our everyday use. Problem is, a lot of people like to dress up that pig, put a lipstick on pig, however that saying goes. So we're doing a dog and pony. They told us prepare for it. Somewhere throughout our hike, the news was going to be there, doing a story on us walking on the beach. This is when the hikes at MCRD, San Diego, I think 2 out of 5 were, I think they all, a portion of it was on the beach at Weapons Field Training Battalion. So sure enough, we crossed over the street, crossed through everything. We hiked along the beach south, went into the tomato patches, right? Came back, same, like 3.5 out, 3.5 back. And when it was on our 3.5 back is when I saw the camera crew set up on the beach and vans and cameras and lights. And it was the second half of the hike, so I let the junior drill instructor who was leading, I was picking up the drops. And once I saw the cameras, I was like, man, I gotta tighten these guys up. So I went to the back to tighten up the hump drops, and we didn't have any. I was like, man, these guys are killing it. They probably saw the camera too. They didn't want to be on camera for the world to see them dropping out of a hike on the beach, MCRD, San Diego, recruit training, era. So at the very last minute, I pulled the smallest kid off to the side. I said, hey, fall out. He's like, sure, this recruit is good. I'm good. I said, just move to the side, move to the side. Because I wanted him to get on camera. I said, don't fall back, just move to the side and keep it like you're going to pass people. So I kind of pushed him to the side. He kind of lost his balance a little bit, but it was right in front of the camera. Still to this day, I don't know if he got on camera. Then I said, look at the camera. And he did. He was like kind of angry looking at the camera, and he just kept hiking. So I don't know if he ever made it. I don't know if he had his 15 seconds of fame or not. Randall Knapp, Semper Fi, brother, thank you. Physical capabilities are important, but don't forget about mental challenges, capabilities. Well said. Ayo. Two main things we talk about, physical fitness and mental toughness. Both of those are highly important, equally important. I agree with you, Ayo. Equally important, because you could be a stud, and trust me, there was plenty of studs that came through that couldn't handle it mentally. And that's all part of boot camp. That's what they do. Marine Corps boot camp. I saw this meme earlier today, or this short. It said the hardest boot camp in order. Of course, they went in reverse order. They said the very easiest, of course, the Marine Corps. Theirs is nothing but 3 months of mental toughness and physical fitness. Walk in the park. And then it showed some pictures. I don't even know what the channel was or anything, but it was funny because he did go in reverse order. And it was Marine Corps first, Coast Guard second. Those of you that don't know, Coast Guard modeled their boot camp to Marine Corps boot camp about 15, 20 years ago. And then the Army was third. But every single one of them, as it was as much of a joke as it was real, every one of them said mental toughness. And they shower you, they pepper you, they attack you with mental toughness, mental fatigue. So they all are, 100%, because it's a culture shock. You're going into it from your free world into this thing that you're told what to do, when to do it, how fast to do it, and how loud to do it. So mental toughness is definitely a huge part of it. Stockton, physical mental toughness is 100% priority, but it seems USMC doesn't want me because I was literally born Air Force on an Air Force base. It's the difference. They want you if you got what it takes. Thank you for your service. to our beloved country. Thank you, paid in full, era. Malcolm says, remembering Jarhead, the news crew, I forgot, yeah, the football game in mop gear. That's what they were doing. So 15 minutes of fame. Stockton. JTB, are you a police? We are the world's police. No, Chloe, I'm not a police. John McJunkin is here in the house. Good to see you, John. Talking about, I don't know how we got on it. We were talking about the Crucible. We were talking about pre-Crucible Marines and Crucible Marines. Which one? Thank you for your service.
No, Jared's here.
Jared, what's happening? I was born in an Air Force base. And look at you now. So whoever said that. And Mark Hankins. You must want to be a Marine. Recruiter's opinion doesn't matter. If you qualify, step up. That's what I'm saying. Waiting on company commander interview about a morale waiver. Moral waiver? Praying all goes well. We're praying for you too. Adaptable American. Yes, Jared, you were born at Joint Base San Antonio. Mental toughness is the most important part because you can make your mind force. I didn't catch all of it, Lay Cookie, but I'm telling you, mental toughness, it's culture shock when you leave the comfort of your own home to go to boot camp to get screamed at for 3 months. So it is culture shock. You have to be mentally tough. San Diego, you have the constant reminder of the aircraft coming and going, landing, taking off, landing, taking off. It is painful because you're not on that plane. JTB was an Air Force brat. Right? What does that have to do with anything where you were born? Mark Hankins, semi-recruiter. I've been spamming my recruiter, no response. Stockton, go to another one. Yes, on hell, Gully. Jesus is still coming. It's a culture shock when Doc outperforms Marines. That's a devil doc right there. We need those too. Buddy of mine is Navy chaplain candidate. All right. Jesus is soon coming. Yes, on hell, we got you. If y'all want to send me a recruiter, please do. This is frustrating. Yes, Stockton, how bad do you want it? Go find a recruiter that can help you. I'm getting the hand and arm signals. I have a German birth certificate and an American one. Oh, all together? Ah, all right. So good info, always good info. You can got to work on the squad wedge, skirmishers. Halt. Down.
That's what it says.
Halt. All right, so we started with the pay raise. That's what I just read right before we got on the show. 14.5% pay raise this year. Not for all the military. 4.5 for everyone across the board. That's a great number if you ask me. I don't know why anything over 3% is good because I've seen it fluctuate every year. It happens every single year. And I remember it being at one time 0.5%. I've seen a 1%. 1, 2, and 3 seem pretty common. 4 and 5, 6, great. This year is 4.5. However, just passed House and Senate, E4 and below get an additional 10%. So that's 14.5% pay increase for E4 and below across the services. So do the math. An E1 makes about $25,000, $28,000 a year. Doesn't seem like very much, but remember, 3 hots and a cot, room and board is paid for. You're not paying for anything, of course, except your cell phone bill. And if you have a car, some minor expenditures that are completely on you. So you create those bills. So up to E4, if the private's about 28, maybe goes to 30, then 35. So say an E4 makes about $35,000 a year, increased by 14.5%. I'm not going to do the math for you, but do the math. That is good pay for an E4, any branches of service. When, once again, room and board, chow, everything is paid for. You're not paying for anything except, I know you're addicted to your cell phone, so you got to have a cell phone. And a lot of people lead by their cell phones nowadays. So you do got to have one. But that is a huge pay raise. So I'm hoping these E4 and below who receive this pay increase do something smart with it, start banking it, right? That's a huge increase, whatever the increase is for your particular rank. If you don't bank all of it, bank at least half of it. We talked about saving by every time you get promoted. The dollar amount from E4 to E5, whatever it is, $150 a month. Bank that for every rank. Again, you were living on E4 pay prior to that. Now live on, now you have a pay increase, but you can still live the same way. Bank at least half of it. Start early. A regret that I do have that I didn't start savings early. It didn't matter how many people would tell me. Start now, and they show you do the math, you save $1 today, and by this time, and by this time, and by the time you reach 55 years old, you're gonna have this much money in the bank. Who thinks about 55 years old? That's a lifetime away. Well, it comes pretty quick, and it's coming after you. So start saving early. Do yourself a favor. All right. So 14.5% pay rate for E4 and below. Congratulations, do something smart with it. And even a 4.5 pay raise for everyone else. That's good. And again, with the new administration coming on January 20th, I think this will be a trend over at least the next 4 years. So start thinking about it now, what you're going to do with your money. Be smart, be wise, save it, invest it once you have a little nice pocket full. That's the pay increase. And then we don't talk enough about military retirement. And I don't remember as a young Marine how many of my older Marines talked about it. I'm sure some had. I do remember a couple of them talking about buying houses. And it came up one time, we're in 29 Palms. I have more time in 29 Palms than anywhere else. But our company going, he's like, yeah, as we were driving in the buses leaving out of there, he's like, yep, there's that's my house right there. Like, what? You got a house in 29 Palms? What's the matter with you? He said, oh, I also got one in Camp Lejeune, Camp Pendleton. He started naming all these houses he had that he just rented out. He said, I buy one everywhere I go. Good God, that dude's got to be a millionaire by now if he's still alive. But at least his family is. He was buying them for his family. Didn't live in all of them, but he would make sure he purchased one in the area he was in. Even some he did. I imagine what I learned now later was, yes, you buy it when you go to a duty station, live in it for the 3 years that you're stationed there, get it ready, get a property manager, rent it out. Don't sell it. You're not going to make as much. Rent it out. Let somebody else pay for that house while you get PCS somewhere else. Buy another one. So there's a way to do it. Just be smart. I'm sure when that dude retired and had 7 or 8 houses, then he could sell a couple and just bank the money, live in the house, or who knows? The possibilities are endless. Real estate, great investment. So do something good with that money. Join the Marines, Jake. Jake says, Menachem. David Bryant. Problem is that, yes, shipbirds receive the same as the hard charges that does everything right, the same pay grade. That's a fact, David Bryant, and that's something that we can't dwell on, right? If just the ones in your unit, again, leaders spend 90% of their time on the 10%. That drives me crazy. It absolutely does, because that 10% doesn't deserve 90% of your time, but it's tough. And it's in every organization, even outside the military. So it's tough. We'd like to believe that everyone is hard charging, motivated, and wanting to be the very best that they can, but they won't. It's not G. Oh. Do we have a job for Jake Stockton? Your folks shouldn't hold you back, Stockton. How bad do you want it? All right. The pay raise. Again, I'm excited about it. I am for the E4 and below. Nothing more than I think we need to do more for the E4 and below. I really do, and this is a great way. This is a great sign. This is how you maintain retention, right? This is how you increase retention. That E4 and below, pay them a little more money, it's going to pay off in the end because that's going to motivate them to stay in. That's how you get your senior NCOs, your sergeants, and your staff NCOs. Take care of them, and they will, one, take care of the mission. We talk about that all the time, and they're going to invest in the Marine Corps. You invest in them, they'll invest in the Marine Corps. And that, civilians out there, civilian communities, that's how you increase revenue. That's how you increase morale, welfare, discipline of any organization whatsoever. The leadership takes care of everyone below them. Don't give yourself a raise. You can once everyone else has received a raise. That's what our current administration, our new incoming administration, I'm positive is going to do. Take care of your people, right? They will take care of you and the mission. I want to say it's basic leadership 101, but people forget about it once they get in those positions. I'm at the top, I'm in charge, this is my company, I'm going to get rich. That's not the purpose of you being up there. The purpose is develop, take care of it. It's a reason why I kept wanting to stay in one more rank, right? Even when I was a sergeant, man, I got to get to staff sergeant. So now instead of being a squad leader, I can be a platoon sergeant. Now I have a whole platoon to take care of, right? And that was good. And that felt taking care of my Marines. But then a platoon wasn't enough. I want to be a gunny so I could be a company gunny, take care of the whole company, right? And just kept, I could never have enough. That's what should be on a leader's mind. Not how do I get to the top so I can take care of myself. You're last in that chain of custody. That leader should be last. He should take care of himself last. All right. Enough of that soapbox. All right. We've talked a little bit about the Green Monster. We do have it for sale. They're in stock. Talk about the importance of it. And I don't know if it's you old timers, you had one. Right, here it is right here. You had it. It was even required for a while. I remember when I first became a corporal, going to Desert Storm, we had to have one. I mean, it wasn't an option, and we had to list I had a fire team, I had my fire team's name, address, social. This is before, socials were such a secure number. Who knows why? That's probably why you have to hide it today because of that. But I have blood types, addresses, family names, phone numbers, everything, because we were going to combat. I remember right before Desert Storm, excuse me, is when I started killing it with everything, daily notes. You'd see something happen, you have a thought in your head, you write it down, right? This is the iPhone 16 Pro Max Extra of 1980s and 90s, right? This is how you kept track of everything. Now you tell the Marine, all right, Marines, check this out. I'm going to give you time and a date. They all bust out their phone. That's why they can't write. That's why they can't spell, right? Because they just type it and autocorrect, and their B4 is a B and a 4. All that crap like that is what's destroying them. So the producer had found that book I keep telling you all about. Thought I was BSing about it, didn't you? This is what I got when I was a corporal. And my platoon sergeant said, all right, take some notes in there. Make sure you know everything about your Marines. And if you got to get a hold of them, points of contact on there. Everything you need to know should be in that Green Monster. Everything I needed to know is now in this Green Monster. And this is, I don't know, decades. Look at Corporal Cece, AT, Bravo Company, 1st Platoon, Saudi Arabia. We got 7th DSB. Where you at, JTB? Engineer Express. That's the E for Engineer Express. There's that. And that's the back. I'm checking out the front. I don't remember doing all this.
Okay, stuff.
Yeah, this is kind of weird. Who knows? I was probably in a meeting trying to pay attention, and I got to doodling and scratching. And I think there's a design under there. I got my name on the bottom, big B up in the corner. Oh, look at, there was that Journey hand is on there from the Journey store. K, I think there's a K over there for Kimi Kimi Cocoa Puffs. Right? She was the only CC back then. And of course, old school Marine Corps sticker, URAH. That's the OG one. You see that driving down the road? Cars, it's on the back of a car. You can spot it a mile away. The NRA one looks very similar, and I think they did that on purpose. But it's the Marine Corps, it's the OG. And I saw one today, or yesterday in our travels with celebrating the birthday. It was the same sticker, but a little bit bigger. I like that. I don't know if anyone else noticed it. It was a little bit bigger, so it stood out even more. It was on the back of like a Jeep, but that's the OG. So this, again, it survived. It's to the last page. The last page is done up. Look at some stuff in here. Saudi Arabia, 90, 91. Operation Desert Shield, 90. Operation Desert Storm, 91. Get some. A big JK. You see that on there? Is that the right page? That's for the producer and CC number 1. Up at the top, all my information. And those, you'll see this throughout. That's security, sensitive information. PII, stuff you can't see. Right there, Corporal Cece, AT. Probably have my full social on there. Bravo Company 1st Platoon, 3rd Squad, the 1st Fire Team, URAH. 677, I remember that number. Just everything. Usually a little more organized than that. I can't believe I wrote on this area here. It's probably in the heat of battle though. Had to bust it out and write stuff. Tons of phone numbers. Address. My whole squad. Oh, the gunners. 3rd Squad gunners. Right? Who was carrying what? Look at that. Walker Boyce. Old school. Rochette, Gillespie. Lay Cookie. Where at Lay Cookie? You hear the names? That was it. Boom. The squad. I mean, the fire team. That was it. Saving lives. Shaking hands and kissing babies. Making it happen. There's a page torn out. I don't know what that means. Maybe some sensitive material. I'm telling you, these, all those, again, all the tape is socials and blood types. Blood types aren't sensitive, but full social. I knew it. I knew my fire team's social security numbers. It was important. They said, you got to know everything about every one of your Marines. And we talked about that before. Do you need to know their favorite color? You need to know what the name of their dog is. Do they have siblings? Yes, yes, and yes. You need to know all that. You need to know what sports team he likes. So when one day he's not the same moto guy that everything's working, you got to find out, hey, bro, you're not the same. Something's going on. What happened? And they could have lost their dog. A sibling could have gotten it. Whatever, you never know. So you have to know everything about them. The lane. This.
Like a sketch in there or something?
Oh.
Near the back.
I'm just talking about inside. Come on, speak. You gotta tell me. I don't know what you're talking about. Which way? She wants me to show you something. Oh, these?
Are you allowed to show that? No, well, you can show that too, but explain what it is. What's in there?
Look at this. You know the deal. If you know, you know. Spades games. That's right. Might have had a little downtime. You saw the movie Jarhead. Spades. Look, I think I won every single game I played. I was a spade master. 10 for 2. What? Pack your bags. You going to Boston? Mm-hmm. What was the other one? Big Mo, Little Mo? Any spades players up there? Maybe that's some of the pages I tore out, or maybe maybe I lost that game. I was a little bitter. I might have torn that page out. Everything's in here. Formal counseling. Look at that. Look at those Marines I counseled, and then had them sign for it. All right, documentation. Take this in. Right? What if I had to use this? Oh, What if I had to use this book in court, right? They're trying to charge me with something, some kind of war crimes. I'll show you right now. Who was there? Who do you remember on this date? I made notes going through at one point, and I'll find it in a minute. Again, like a little doodling every now. You never know. Man, this was your cell phone back in the day. Look at this. Maybe I'll just flash it real quick. Boom. That was a Desert Shield, Desert Storm going through the minefields. How we were going to do it. Who was where, what lanes. This was obviously in a predestined, like another page torn out. That was probably the sensitive material I tore out. But here we're going. Phase lines, counterattack, call signs. This was to another page torn out. Makes me wonder. A lot of blank pages too. I wonder. Might have been those times I was sleeping in combat. Nah, I never slept in combat. I did one time. I don't know if I told it. Look at this. Is a timeline. Moment we stepped off. Line of departure, LOD. Took off. By this time, incoming. This time, this is how we reacted. This is what kind of rounds were coming at us. Everything to use for later for after action reports. Remember, and again, if you know, you know, as soon as you finish an operation, a timeline of something, training, as soon as you're done, you got to do a hot wash right away while everything's still fresh in your mind. This is how you keep it fresh in your mind as soon as it's over. You think you're going to remember, a couple hours later, you get back to the house, you shower, you change, you go back in for the hot wash. Some details just you see in court all the time. That's where they want information immediately. Now we got body cameras. You got cameras. Everyone busts their camera out when something happens. This was before all that. And tell me this wouldn't hold up in court, right? Time and date. Alpha relief, guard duty, right? Who is on guard? Who is on post at this time? Right here, I can tell you because I wrote it down right when he was on post. I relieved him at this time, 14 minutes early. Unreal. Line of departure. Has it all, and now I'm telling you history. I briefly saw some of this. Is history. I didn't show the inside. Here's some history. This is when we changed our color to green. Started out scarlet and gold, and we got new ones. History. See at the front, some more doodling. Oh, I had this scope of later. I used this for a while. IT card. It's to thrash recruits. Here's the rules.
JTB's, wasn't it?
Look at thrash JTB as often as you can. History. Here it is. Get you one. They are still my Shopify or SFMF-merch.myshopify.com. Again, we all use our phones now, and I do too. That notes section of my phone, I do use it. Sometimes I even use my Palm Pilot until I can inscribe it, until I can write it. And so I still, to this day, I have to write things down. And that's what I'll do. I'll write it on my hand and then get back and write it somewhere. And, of course, notes. But this is old school and something good to have. Phones, notes, whatever. This will never go away. History. So thank you to the producer for finding that for me. And I'll be reading the whole thing later. Maybe. Some scribbling.
So 30 years old, how old is this thing?
30 years old. Desert Storm is 1990. Right? So I got it. So cheers to the green monster.
Not to be confused with the green weenie.
Not to be confused with the big green weenie. Or the other green monster is the green scuds pads. In boot camp, did y'all call them green monsters? The little green that you scrub the deck with? Those are good. Leader's book, says Jesse. That's what it is. I hate when the phone batteries die. Battery will never die on this baby. Right? You don't have to plug this in.
Might run out of ink.
Good point, David. Might run out of ink. That's why I tell you, some people do that little cut do a little cut and then mash their pen. And I never liked that. I don't know why I didn't like how it bulged out, but I see a lot of people do that.
You had another one, didn't you?
Luckily,
Bigger one?
camis have that spot right inside. You keep a ink stick, Skillcraft ink stick, my favorite. Keep it right inside your blouse. You can't even see it. They have that little slit in your left pocket, left breast pocket for a pen. I never liked keeping it there. Always kept mine right in the middle. They have a bigger one. They have a bigger one you use for the duty logbook. Is that the one you're talking about?
I thought you had or was it just a binder thing?
Yeah, it was a cover, right? Then people, Okinawa especially, Mama-san will make you a cover for it with a little pocket in there, put your name on it. Tried and true. History right there. Get you one. SFMF merch.myshopify.com. Little rolling back in the a flashback. That's what that was, a little flashback. Good times. Get you one. We did talk about, we still have, and we're going to continue to talk about the holiday season. And yes, I already told you, we say Merry Christmas around here. So the birth of Jesus, we will be celebrating on the 25th with as much family as we can. There's nothing with big families. You don't always get together. Thanksgiving was our big family. The whole family was there. It was amazing. But we do have a bittersweet moment. I told some of y'all, Kimmy Cocoa Puffs dog passed the morning of. So we'll hope and pray, and if she's here tonight, I haven't seen her yet, but we hope and pray that that doesn't create a sore spot for Thanksgiving. It happened on Thanksgiving Day. So horrible. Again, luckily the whole family was there. We were able to keep her mind off it and still make it a great celebration. But that just goes to show you the holidays are great, but there can be some bad memories for some people for some reasons. January is also my mother-in-law's birthday. And we know, again, I shared with you that my mother-in-law, your producer's mother, passed in July. And it's still tough. Everyone grieves differently and for a different amount of time and for different reasons. So this will be, the first was Thanksgiving without her. And then Christmas without her. And we didn't always spend it with her, but of course that was another reason to talk, speakerphone, we share, she would send gifts, and if we're in the, you know what I mean? It's just, it's a lot of firsts. So the first year is particularly tough. Her birthday's coming up right after Christmas. So that's going to be tough. And where we're going to be, if we're going to be near her house, should we go to, you know, it's just, all these can be tough times. And it's, you know, I remember growing up as a young Marine and you hear, well, Gunny's mom died, Sergeant Major's dad just passed, and like, man, we're at that age now where parents are passing away. And even, and again, animals too, because the animals don't live as long as humans, so that's a part of life as well. So these holidays, as great as they are, we have to remember, right? We talk about buddy checks, but specifically on holidays, and that's when you still take that moment to remember. And I want to think, when I pass, on Christmas, I want people to celebrate, right? And all the holidays, even on my birthday and my death date. So you got to know that that's what they would want you to do, not dwell on those for too long. Everyone grieves differently. Everyone grieves for a different amount of time. As long as you never forget, always remember, and just know that there are people on these memorable holidays that it could be tough for. So say a prayer and have each other's back, right? Continue to push through those hard times. So, and we will, you know, our holidays are, we're going to be traveling, we're going to be moving. But we're going to stay in contact. We're going to continue to keep our community alive and well. So hang tough, right? It's easy to say until it happens to you. And we'll share a story about my mom when my dad passed. It was extremely hard. It's her best friend her whole life. They went through some hard times, of course, and some great times. Very loving family, I told y'all. Hardworking people. My dad, a hard worker, the most generous two people I know in my life, literally will give you the shirt off their back. We had people living at our house that my dad would try to help. They're in the food business. My dad would feed people all the time, very poor with their money, both of them, because they were too generous. So it kind of bit him in the butt in the end. So when he passed, it was tough. And his funeral was hundreds of people I didn't even know. So many people knew him. And then my sister passed 2 years later. Imagine on us as a family, but my mom lost her husband and best friend and her only daughter. So that was tough. And I remember at some point, everyone's telling my mom, man, you're so strong. You got to be strong. You got to be strong. You got to be strong. And she was strong for the family. She put on that strong face. And at one point, she's like, man, I'm the baby, remember? I was like, Mom, you're so strong. And that's because I think that's the thing you say. She's like, and she just broke down. She said, I'm tired of being strong. Let me be weak for a minute. Let me mourn. Let me grieve. And I just got to get this out. I don't want to be strong right now. This is way too much for me to handle. So it gave me a completely different perspective on times like that. And as of course, I want to be there for her. I want to be there for my wife. I want to be there for my daughter when her dog passed. You know what I mean? You want to do the very best. Sometimes you just got to let people get it out. Just continue to be there for them. And unless you've been there, you don't know where they've been. You don't, or where they are. You don't know what they're going through. Right? You can imagine. And even that, even if you've lost a mother, you can feel like you know where she's coming from, but you didn't have the same relationship. Could have been worse, could have been better. It doesn't matter. It just wasn't the same. Right? Like today, I have a different relationship with all 5 of my kids. Right? They're all awesome, but it's a little bit different relationship. That's how my parents had a little bit different relationship with each of their children. So as much as we like to think, I know what you're going through, I would never say that to anyone about anything, because I don't. And just know that she had an amazing relationship with her mother, and we'll be there for her always. It's going to be tough, but we got her back. Right? Through God, anything's possible. Amen. All right. So, holiday times. All right. Where are we at? David Bryant. Who did the graphics on yesterday's notice? Outstanding work. David Bryant. That was all AI. Right? ChatGPT. I've never used either one of them, and I need to, so I can start making those community posts. But that was 100% AI. And what you typed it in, what you wanted it to say, right? And those of you, if you know, you know. You just type it in. Eagle Open Anchor, Marine Corps emblem, Semper Fi, my friend. Submit. Boom. It generated that picture. And it was great. And I'll put it this way. We went to a seminar about YouTube and stuff and trying to learn and as much as we possibly can. And this woman talked about IA creating shorts.
It's AI.
AI. Am I saying IA? AI. AI. That shows you how much I know about it. But she talked about making shorts using AI. And at one point, she said she needed to use it because she caught laryngitis. So she couldn't talk. And that's how she made a living, on making shorts, YouTube content. She was killing it. Very popular. but she got laryngitis, so she's like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I can't make shorts for it until it goes away. I don't know how long the laryngitis hangs out, but a couple of weeks, I'm going to guess at least a week. So she chat GPT'd it, AI 100%, and posted it. And she was telling the story through a short. She's like, this is what happened. I got laryngitis. I couldn't do it. I was a wreck. I even felt me, you know, she's a woman. She couldn't do her hair. She just, I was lost.
I'm so impressed you remembered that.
Right? Because I was impressed by it. She's a producer. Nikki? No. Sanchez? Nikki Sanchez? I think Sanchez, or I don't know if it was Nikki. Either way, she described that experience all through a short that we all watched on the big screen. Huge, big screen. And then when she was done, she turned it off, and then she was there on stage, she spoke. And she said, I'm telling you, it's amazing. If you don't know enough about it, check it out. Here's a couple of links and find out, because what you just watched was the AI-generated short that I explained everything to you. And I'm telling you, I was blown away. You couldn't tell at all. It looked exactly like her on stage and sounded exactly like her. And that's what she did. She typed it out. Create me in wearing a summer dress, my hair flipped to the right. She just described everything that she wanted the short to be. Now, here's the message. I have laryngitis. I can't speak right now. And I want my audience to know that I turned to AI so I can, boom. And it was an amazing video. So with that being said, yes, I think it's good if we continue to use it for good, right? And you see the movies, the robots are going to take over, start killing people. And those movies have been out for years. So you know this is something that's already been in the works. And then how much can they use it for false information? Right? I saw some pretty funny ones they made of some politicians, especially around election time, that you just got to wonder, is that real? And I've seen some too where sometimes you can spot like a sixth finger, right, or something very minor that could just prove to you that it's not real. I saw one the other day about how a wolf cautioned drivers that there was a landslide coming up, and the wolf like ran in front of the car, and the car's like, get out of the way, honking. The wolf wouldn't leave. Then the wolf jumped up on the hood of the car, was howling. I was like, that's a smart wolf, and that's what the caption said. How smart is this wolf? And the wolf jumped off and was still howling at the car, like trying to tell him to turn around. All of a sudden, an avalanche of rocks. And the car was able to back up and save their lives. 100% AI, and I had a feeling it was just because the wolf was something about there was no shadows. Once you start reading the comments, there was no shadows, and one boulder bounced and one broke. It was, but it just made me think, my God, there's going to be a whole lot of computer-generated graphics, some for good, like this woman that had laryngitis, some for bad, for false advertisement, false information, whatever, BS. So be aware, but know that it's out there and know that people are 100% using it. So you got to be aware. All right, where we at? %1 every day. Who is that? Did you get that from me? 1% better every day. Trump helped allowing to allow outsourced doctor. That was the only thing he was legally allowed to do in the VA, separate from the Fed. I missed probably the whole conversation y'all are talking about. Pogue. That's my favorite. Personnel other than grunt. What'd you do in the Corps? JSJD. URAH. If it's not 03 infantry, stop typing. Pogues. Lead the way.
Thanks, Carl.
Thanks, Carl. Carl got rid of him. Thanks, Carl. You know, last week we talked about complacency. And that goes, remember, it hits us all, right? It's not always, you don't always recognize it. And even when you're the guy preaching it, complacency, complacency, stop it. Complacency kills. I've told the story hundreds of times to anyone I come across. In combat, we'd spray paint it on the bulkhead, on the sandbags, on the bunkers, anywhere, on the urinals. Because it does. Complacency kills, but it also comes in out of nowhere. You don't even realize it, that it's happening. So you got to be able to recognize it in someone else, and then discuss it. But along with complacency is accountability. So those two do go hand in hand. Because once you become complacent, you don't believe that you are. And when somebody else is trying to hold you accountable for that complacency, that's when you get defensive. That's when you become a bully, a tyrant. I know what I'm doing. That's all back to accountability. And I know accountability has been a buzzword for a long time now, starting with the withdrawal from Iraq. That's when it really hit the world by storm, because everyone was like, someone needs to be held accountable. That was horrible. And it was horrible. Poor decision making, poor mission, and I mean, everything about it was wrong and bad. But nobody paid for it except those 11 Marines that died that day because of it. So who's being held accountable now? Not that that's extreme, but that is an extreme example of no accountability. Nobody got held accountable. Lieutenant Colonel Stu Scheller, read his book, Crisis in Command. That'll tell you everything you need to know about it. Problem is, it's happening in the civilian community as well. It's happening in the military, even by military members when they leave the military. So it is something, complacency sets in, and then no accountability for that complacency. They go hand in hand. So be aware. Be aware, recognize it, and don't be afraid to say something about it. Jake says the people responsible will either step down as soon as they've been told to, or will pay the price. You would like to believe that didn't happen in that particular case, and sometimes it just doesn't happen. You gotta wait them out. As much as I back up and support and agree with Stu Scheller, I wish he could have done more while he was still in. All right, sometimes you got to stay in that environment to fix it. You cannot fix it from the outside. Those people who don't hold themselves accountable, who continue to do the things that they do, they want someone like Stu Scheller just to go away so they can continue sweeping stuff under the rug, forgetting about it, kicking that can down the road, hoping it goes away. Still looking for someone in the Space Force to join us. Yes, Carl. Come on, Space Force. You got to know they're out there. You know they're watching. How big is the Space Force? Anybody know? We want Space Force. Not too many airmen on here either. Every now and then we hear some Air Force comments. Do you believe in drone usage in the military? Streamline Dub asks. Yes, I do. 100%. I've seen some incredible footage from some drones. Now, the fire department uses them. Seen some great footage of that. But I do. I 100% agree on it, and that does, I believe it does save lives. Instead, boots on the ground will always be a must. You always have to have boots on the ground. But a drone can save you some lives. You can see some things through a drone that otherwise you wouldn't see while you're walking through. Things up high, down below, hiding behind walls, and all those blind spots in a village like in Iraq, in the deserts of Afghanistan, in those mud huts. A drone can see things that you cannot. So it definitely gives you a heads up what to expect. So I 100% believe in the drones. And again, you lose a drone, it's what, $10,000? Much cheaper than a life. So I say we use as many drones as we possibly can. Will they replace Boots on the ground, Marines on the ground, Marines in a fight? Nope. But they definitely can support them. I do think that it does also, that's a reason why I think they felt they could have, that they got rid of snipers. I don't think that was a good call. Maybe decrease the number of snipers, but I firmly believe we still need the snipers because a drone can't shoot somebody from 1,000 meters out. So I think we need both. You in the Army. How dare you, Gabriel? Jared, LOS Space Force are in the coldest environment. It's insane. Space Force, yeah, I saw you, Lay Cookie. That's a good question. Where is the Space Force? Drone warfare is the new way of combat support, Carl Green. I'm with it. I do. Mike, LOA, they're in the cold places, extremely cold environments. Like where? Where is the Space Force? No drone zone. X Lemon, what's this stream about? Warriors. Talking about warrior stuff. Hang out. X Lemon, like and subscribe. Hang out with us. We're talking about current situation, the military. We're a community of like-minded warriors. Check it out. Where is the Space Force? That's what we're asking. That's what we're talking about right now. Where they station, where their bases. There's a Space Force base on Cape Canaveral, Florida. Makes sense? Thank you for your service. Thank you, Jesse. Alaska, North Dakota, Vermont, all U.S. Air Force drone bases. United States AFA. What's the Space Force? United States Space Force, USSF. Drone doesn't make you win wars. I don't think it'll win wars either. It's like it'll definitely help. I don't know about the Space Force. I don't either. I'm a stone warm killer because I don't like the cold. So I like the cold as long as you can get out of it at the end of the day. I was working on Cape Canaveral and our badge would not let us onto that part of the Cape. Space Force need to know. I guess we don't need to know. They're somewhere. That's OPSEC, right? Says Robert. My guess would be in conjunction with Air Force bases. Yeah, I think so too. Nearby, right? Elon Musk probably has something to do with part of it, where they're going to be. They're probably picking his brain on what the best places are. Space Force are a different breed. Most of them, right, are prior service Air Force. Someone asked, I know they're trying to be funny, but if Marines work for the Space Force, are they Space Marines? And there was recently, didn't a Marine just change over? A senior enlisted went to the Space Force. Space Marines from Warhammer 40K. I think you'd enjoy it if you're ever looking for another hobby in the future. Space Force is the most likely near Mars. I think so too. You were from the Air Force. Be damned if I get lit up behind spot drone strike. They have take me alive. Yeah, sounds like a Halo thing to say. Marines are probably the least cool branch. Good one, point and shoot. Space Force had a senior enlisted, yes, didn't they? Randall, I know their senior enlisted of the Space Force was a prior service Air Force guy, but I think a Marines senior enlisted just went to the Space Force.
Scott Stalker?
Scott Stalker, anyone know?
Master Gunner Sergeant.
Master Guns. Door gunner on a space shuttle. Now you're talking, Robert. Yeah, imagine that. Yeah, Randall, I think it was a Marine, right? The producer saying maybe a Master Gunner Sergeant went to the Space Force. Space Force, it makes sense. Again, point and shoot. Because those are funny. Trolls are funny. Every Marine I've ever met was a weirdo. It's not for everybody. Can't hang. Maybe the least cool branch, but we get things done that no one else can or no one else wants to. Told you about my story in Alaska. 2 summers in Alaska. We went to build a road. That's what we're doing from one end of the island, from the south end of this island to the north end, just straight across. Easy, about 2 clicks, not far at all. Because where the town was, they had to go into the open ocean to get to the mainland. Metlakatla, Ketchikan, Alaska, southern, first city in Alaska, the most southern part. And they, in the winter, they couldn't get there because the seas were too rough for their little boats. So they spent the winter stuck on the south side of that island, couldn't move. So it was rough. Winters were rough there for them. Small village, I don't remember how many people, a couple hundred. But they couldn't get to the mainland because of the weather. So I don't know why it took them so long to figure it out. When they needed a road that just cut across the island from the south part to the north. Then it was like a 200-meter little channel that they could probably swim across. No, because it's too cold, but their boats can get across. Sounds easy enough. So they send in the Marines, engineers up. They sent us with we met an Army unit of, what are their Army engineers and sappers and just a whole Army unit, Guard, Army National Guard and Army Reserves, and a company of Marine engineers, 7th ESB, EBRA. So we get to this island, and before we could start building the road, we had to build a base camp. And in Metlakatla, Alaska, it rains 360 days out of the year. So there's 5 days sprinkled throughout the year without rain. So it rains a lot. And we knew. We brought our Gore-Tex and some warming tents. Out in the middle of nowhere, there's nothing. No electricity, nothing. So we had to bring it all. We had a robust company we added some utilities guys, some HE, heavy equipment. We brought everything we needed. But the rain never stopped. And it was in the summer, so it was light until about 22:30, 2300. It started to get a little dusk. And then never got completely dark. And then the sun started coming back up around about 3 in the morning. So it was about 2 or 3 hours of duskness. And that's when we slept. The rest was daylight. So we were working like nonstop. We made shifts, so we used most of the light. We used it wisely. The problem we ran into, though, was we couldn't dry our Gore-Tex fast enough. So Gore-Tex, the company even came out and they issued us a second set, then a third set. Then they brought tents to dry the weird. You go through about 3 or 4 sets of Gore-Tex throughout the day. That's how hard it was raining. And all we're doing is building base camp. We had to build strong backs for the Marines to sleep in, build a chow hall, obviously to eat, build head facilities. And that was it, weight room. We built some basics. And then the following summer, we were going to come back to start the road. So it was about 3 months. We went into town once or twice, which Metlakatla was a dry island, meaning no alcohol. Funny they would call it dry because it was wet. So, of course, we went to town every now and then and got in trouble like Marines do. But the biggest part was the rain. So the very next year, we were going back to meet the same Army unit, and they didn't show up because it rained too much. So here we found ourselves, only one company of Marines now, and not a company of Marines and a company of soldiers. We start building that road, which has actually turned out to be an awesome project. Way bigger than one company could do, though, because the small island just had thousands upon thousands of 100-foot trees that we had to cut all those down, and there's no place to put them. We're on an island, so we had to burn them in the rain. So we had to configure. We had these giant fans and a hose hooked up there that was spitting out fuel. The fan blew the fuel onto the fire, and we literally burning trees in the rain. And then it was full of rock. So I'm talking 200-300 feet of rock. It wasn't just flat lands. It was Alaska. So then we had to drill holes 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 feet and then stuff it with dynamite and blow it. So it was a great project for engineers, right? We learned a lot about engineering. But it was huge. It was a huge project. We did the best we could 2 summers in a row. Then I PCS'd. I think they went back a couple years later. I'm not sure where that project went. And the whole point of it was they sent the Marines in there because no one else would go. Horrible living conditions. It was a project that would have cost them about $40 million. And of course, the Marines did it for some chow. Did it, charge when you go. So it was a great project. Wonder where it is now. I'm going to have to look it up. Why did I bring that up? What were we talking about? So I'm talking about the Marines. Space Force. Marines doing more with less. Jared, his oldest son is 6'10", so we can send him to Mars. Like Barron Trump, 6'10". Jared, how'd you do that? He's kind of brain dead anyway. Come on, Jared. 6'10", he can do whatever he wants. But the permanent frost was hard to get through. I mean, a whole lot of things came out of that deployment, Sniper Freak. One, there were bears, right? Because, of course, we had to dump our trash. We had a trash pit. Just like in combat, you dig a big pit, throw it in, you burn it at the end of the day. So when we would go to the burn pit to start it, there'd be about 6 or 8 bear in there and close, right? Like real close. They wouldn't mess with you because they were eating. So they were fine. So we had to let them get their fill first. Then we had to shoo them away so we could burn it. Very interesting, learning to live with the bears. And the Navy was there for a little bit. They brought Mike boats, and they would shuttle us to the mainland if we needed something, because they can handle that weather. They fished for us. They brought us fresh chow. We ate pretty good, because I don't know if anyone's ever been to Alaska, but when they say the salmon are running, I had been told it before, and I thought it was cool. I'm sure it's a lot of salmon. More salmon than I've ever seen in my life, still to this day. And when they would run, it means where they're swimming up north, swimming upstream. I don't know where they're going, but there's a billion of them, and they're like this big, just gigantic. We didn't need fishing poles. We brought our clubs. We call it, let's go clubbing. And we'd all have a little stick, because you just stand in the water and flick them out with your feet. You don't need a fishing pole, right? We all came, we were getting fishing poles and hooks and bait. They're like, you don't need any of that. Just stood in the creek, and you'd find little creeks anywhere. Just stand in it and kick them out. Another Marine, one of the country boys would catch it, bang it on the head, hand it to another Marine, he'd slice it open, gut it. Another Marine would be putting it on the grill, right? We'd eaten fresh salmon, more salmon than we could even handle. We'd take it into town, they'd can it for us, send some home. Amazing, truly amazing. And then the Navy, when they would float back and forth to us, they'd put some crab cages out, and they'd go like 2 miles an hour. They'd come and they had fresh crab. And those Mike boats have little kitchen. It's just amazing. Learned a lot. And the national bird there, the bald eagle, all over the place. Saw more bald eagles in my life in those 2 tours, everywhere. Beautiful. It was amazing. It was a great, great project. Ray, how did we deal with the bears? Of course, they sent me in, and I fought them bears. No, we just stayed away. We stayed away from the bears. They really didn't. They didn't mess with us. They tore up the trash pit, and of course, got whatever they could. But then, just like you hear and you read about it, you make a loud noises, you kind of scare them. They would eventually go away. And of course, once we lit the trash pit on fire, they'd go away. But they were there, and it was always in the back of your mind. They wouldn't come around the backside and try and get into our food stores, but they never did. Interesting though, I've never seen bears so up close like that. The bears were loose anyway. They're all over the place. Salmon swim against the tide to their spawning grounds. I'm a fishmonger. I'm telling you, more salmon. Unbelievable. Still to this day, I'm picturing how many there were. Like they were getting in each other's way. Not like you see on the TV where that one, you see him jumping, and and the bear was standing there waiting. These were billions of them. Maybe we got lucky on the little creek we're in. In an ocean, you could see a lot, but these smaller inlets, millions. Amazing. I meant to say they were going to lose anyway. That's what I thought you meant, Jake. I'd take on a bear, like a small, tiny baby bear, like firstborn.
Good luck with that. Mama's gonna get you.
Yeah. Then you got to deal with the mama. All right, a teddy bear. I'll fight a teddy bear, stuffed teddy bear. Lucky it was dry land. Marines would out trying to fight bear. Yeah. You know the Marines wanted to mess with them. Did you fly into Fairbanks? Is that south? I don't remember. Obviously, it sounds familiar. Where did we fly into? Anchorage? Juneau? It's the most southern city of Alaska, so whatever the closest there. There's a National Guard base there too. Was it Juneau? I don't remember. Right, a high value target. Way too much information. So the smoked salmon. Persian's asking about smoked salmon. They would smoke it and can it. And so I'm telling you, we just sent tons of salmon home. Smoked it, put it in cans. They pressure sealed some. The steaks, salmon steaks. Chop it like canned tuna. It would be canned. Amazing. Probably Ketchikan. So it was Ketchikan where we were. Do they have an airport, I'm guessing?
Robert Hamilton just said it's Juneau.
Juneau. And another thing about Ketchikan in Alaska, for those of you that don't know, it's a huge tourist spot. While we were there in the summer. I told you we were there during 4th of July. They have a 4th of July parade every year. And the 2 years we were there, we got to participate in. Had some Humvees with some 50 cal on top, and representing the Marine Corps because Marines had never been there. But big ships would come in, the Princess Cruise Lines, right? The Disney ship. I don't know what it was, but it was a huge tourist spot. They'd spend a day there, go shopping, and take off. So that was the income of that small little thing. And it was small. It was kind of like one main road. A couple bars. Of course, the Marines found the bars and restaurants, but yeah, other than that, it's crazy. We got to know the police very well, right? As the company gunny, that's what I made friends with the police right away. Even had their high school football team. It was the only high school in Ketchikan. So for them to practice with anyone else, they had to drive or fly, I don't know, hundreds of miles to the next high school. So they asked if a couple of Marines, so the fire department, the men of the fire department would gear up and practice with the football team just to give them someone to practice with. And they were a good team. So we played. I remember me and a corpsman, one other Marine, I think 3 of us went with the fire department and played with them and did a little scrimmage against the high school team. It was pretty interesting. One, because there's no grass in Alaska. None. I don't know if you know that. You think it rains so much there'd be grass everywhere, but it's too cold, right? It snows most of the time. So this football field that we played on was all dirt. Both elbows, knees, the pads didn't fit me right. Looked like I was wearing a Little Tykes football gear. We got tore up, of course, and I was an old man by then. Doc Holiday, Semper Fi, my friend. Semper Fi to you and your family. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Big Doc. There it is. Awesome. Appreciate you guys. Little recap of tonight. It is a Monday night. Thanks for joining us. I don't know what the numbers look like. Carl, how are we looking? Might be competing a little bit with Monday Night Football. I don't even know who's playing. What is she doing over there? The pay increase was the big news. I really am excited about that for the E3 and below. Again, we talk about never forget where you came from. You know, as you're a leader and you grow up, that says so much about, again, the House and Senate. I don't know how it all works or who is involved in it. I got to believe it's the incoming administration had a lot to do with it, taking care of our junior Marines, sailors, airmen, Space Forcemen. I think that has a huge part to do with it. That is how you accomplish the mission. You keep them not just happy. I don't want to say, oh, you got to keep them happy and they'll work for you. No, but you take care of them. There's a difference between just making them happy. That's how you take care of them. The military doesn't get paid a whole lot, and everyone knows. Anyone can Google how much does the E4 in any branch of service. We all make the exact same amount of money. Things get added on, danger pay. If you know different languages, medical, dental, pilots, they all make a little more, right? But an E9 across the board makes the same. The only one who makes a little more for incidentals is the Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps, Sergeant Major of the Army, all the branches of service. That guy might make a little more. But other than that, we all make the same. What people through every rank. So you know exactly how much you'll get paid. What you don't hear about is the retirement. Military retirement is great. The use of, it's even better now that they, right? Like you get a pay raise and you get an ID card. Used to, you only got an ID card after you retired. So those of you that gotten out, you have a limited access ID card. You can still get on bases, and I don't know all the limitations of it. But if you do 20, you get a retirement ID card, medical, dental, use of any base across the world. Those are benefits that are very, very valuable and just add to the retirement itself. And depending on what rank you retired at and exactly how many years over 20 will determine how much you get paid. So it is a great retirement system that I don't think they push enough. And again, I think the recruiters they're very good at what they do. Talking to a 17-year-old about retirement seems like that time will never come, right? That's 20 years from now. Think about it like this. You join at 17 or 18, retire after 20, you're 38 years old with the full retirement. You can literally retire at 38 years old. Granted, you're going to want to get another job and a better way of life after, and you still can because you're only 38. That's nothing. So it is great. Michael's Drones, RCs and knives. Good to see you. Good evening, brother. Welcome. Hello to you and your team. Marco, greetings from Italy. From where are you? We are in America. Marco, good to see you. Let's hear about you, Marco. What are you doing in Italy? You're from Italy or you're in Italy? %1 every day. Come on, what do y'all think about drink driving? Drunk driving? Serious question. I think it should be legal, but crashing is no. That's not real. Would you want your bus driver drinking, your cab driver? Would you want him to drink and drive, your airline pilot? Come on. You missed my last comment. Sorry, Major. What is it? Sniper Freak? Put it again. I'm watching. I'm looking. While we answer Darren Bloomer, what's this channel all about? Motivation, like-minded warriors, supporting each other, talking about life, breathing life into each other, right? We talk anywhere from saving money to being smart about life, like 1%. That they say there's no dumb question. 1%, I think you might have just proven that theory wrong. And anybody here? Madison in the background. I'm waiting. Sniper Freak, put your question back up there, your comment. Let's go, Harry. Anytime, never lost. I have respected vets my whole life. Have you heard about anything about how we're supposed to treat vets come January? Hello. There it is. Visiting veterans' disabled homes, taking gifts and taking them to dinner for Christmas. Amazing. And somebody just asked that. How should we treat vets in January? Why January? Right? Is it because the new administration? They're going to be treated just like they should. What can you do individually? I'm not sure if that's your question, but respect them, honor them. I think there's nothing more motivating. And what someone said before, like, I don't like when people tell me thank you for my service. I appreciate it. And I definitely would say it to service members I meet on the street, especially our older generation who paved the way for us, right? Love seeing the Vietnam hats, the veteran hats. Not too many World War II veterans still around, right? And if they are, they're in their hundreds, right? Late 90s and already 100. So be honored if you ever meet a World War II veteran. But Vietnam veterans are still young enough to be around and support, and I take every opportunity to speak to any veteran. So I think that's what you can do. Honor them. Every day is Veteran Day. I'm with you, Doc. Every day. So what's going to change in January? Nothing. Speaking of retirement, this would have been my 19th year, but service limitations got me with over an abundance of sergeants in the 03 field. Sorry to hear that, Robert, but that did happen. Needs of the Corps. It happened and it still happens. All timing is everything. 5.5 years as a sergeant. I'm lucky service limitations didn't hit me, but it does happen. I spent almost 30 years in public service. I appreciate when people show appreciation for public service. Amen. Even public service, police, firefighters, first responders, anything on a fun run. Man, I'm that guy who on a fun run, 5K, just trying to survive, keep up with my daughter. The police that are blocking the road, I try to make it over there, just give them all fist bumps. Thank you for your service. Thanks for being out here. So yes, you have to, you don't have to do anything, but you should honor all those men and women, put their life on the line every day for us. That's what our first responders do. Military puts their life on the line for us when they go to combat and when they train. But first responders every day. Matthew Ashgren, good to see you, brother. Monday Night Motivation. Yes, this is the first. And that's, if you missed it, it's because we were celebrating my daughter's birthday yesterday on our normal Sunday night live. But this is Monday. Good to see you, Matthew. How's everything? I don't know any Marine who has gotten lower than 250 PFT. They're out there, unfortunately. Not every single Marine is 100% URAH. We like to think they are, and we wish they were, but the Marine Corps has their 10% also. Happy belated birthday. That's to my youngest, was yesterday. Thank you, Matthew. How's everything with you? First responders are great. Knockout. I'm with you. Again, the crew you see at a football game, high school football game, there's always an ambulance there with the crew just standing by, just waiting. Thanking them. They sit through a 3-hour football game. Hopefully, they don't have to do anything. That's a good day. But they're there, and they're ready to respond. First responders are amazing. We're still on for Philadelphia next year. You know it, Doc. You know it. I'm going to start asking my producer for updates so I can let y'all know. But we will be there in blue dress alphas. Let's go. Check them. They might have shrunk sitting in your closet. You got to make sure. Don't get them tailored. Remember somebody said that on here. You don't get your uniform tailored. You tailor your body to fit back in that uniform. So let's go. November 10th. What's the countdown? We need to get a countdown calendar going. Today's December 8th, 9th. Somebody do the math. We'll do a countdown every show. How many days until Philly. Ton Tavern, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Those of you new to the channel, those of you who weren't here during the November 7th message. November 7th. Why does that name ring a bell? November 10th show. November 10th, 1775. We're going to make it November 10th, 2025 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania at the new Ton Tavern. Marine Corps Ball. That was you, Randall? 300 days. Robert did the math. 300 days until Ton Tavern. If the ton isn't ready, we'll be there anyway, celebrating. We're going to be there celebrating anyway. So Philly better be ready. They better be ready because you're going to get a couple thousand Marines there ready to celebrate the birthday. It might be in the streets, but we're going to celebrate the 250th Marine Corps birthday. How awesome is that? Send love from Morocco. I got a room. You better believe they will go fast. Damn it. Do we get a room yet? She pretend like she can't hear me now. Better get us a room.
They don't know where they're breaking ground yet.
Anywhere in Philly. They don't know where they're breaking ground yet. I thought they did. They did. They showed them with the shovels in the ground.
Did you say where it was?
No. Where'd you get a hotel, David? And how many beds did you get?
Can you get one for them?
Can you get a rollout bed? We're there. Whatever happened to Master North? I don't know. Bring on the cheesesteaks. We had some while we were there. Yes, indeed. My DI told me that he would tailor us to fit our uniforms. That's it. That's a fact. Oh, that was you that said that. Yeah, you don't tailor your uniform. You tailor your body to fit the uniform. Awesome. What happens if Ton Tavern is UA? Again, we're going to be there celebrating regardless. So we got to bring a few items. All right, the POW MIA table, we bring some items for that. Candle, sword, cover, dog tags, blank dog tags. We'll celebrate that. We got to get a cake, right? And we'll identify the youngest and the oldest Marine there. We'll see who's going to be the oldest Marine present. We'll do that. Guest of honor, we'll have somebody give a speech, and we'll complete the entire ceremony. Again, might be in the streets, might be in a park near Ton Tavern. We know where the old one was. All right, we're there. That marker is still there. We'll cry. It's a small little area too, right next to the freeway. But we'll fit a couple. How are they going to get rid of all of us? They better be careful. Marines might show up and build the tavern for them. Can't even imagine. It's going to be amazing just to be one around that many Marines. Past and present. Can you imagine the amount of Marines are going to be there? The amount of lies that are going to be told about their military service? Awesome. And a reunion. How many Marines are you going to, have you ever had this conversation? Man, you look familiar. I know you from somewhere. Yeah, you do too. I saw you walking by. Where'd you go to boot camp? It starts with boot camp. Were you a drill instructor? Were you a recruiter? Did you go to staff academy? Where did you do? All that comes out. You ever in Okinawa? And then you finally figure it out. When you could have just asked your wife. I always ask my wife, where do I know that guy from? It was in 7th ESB, Camp Penalty. She knows the date, time, place, his first name. She knows all that stuff. But that conversation is always fun. No, I left Okinawa right before you, I think. And oh, yeah. And then you finally figure it out. It was pretty cool. Can you imagine how many times that's going to happen at Ton Tavern? 10 November 2025. Can't wait. Jared, I know I won't be the oldest or the youngest. I don't know, Jared. Getting up there. It's a year from now. Happy guy. Appreciate you. Respects Marines. Is this stream okay for 10-year-old people? It's not Fortnite. Like it's some motivation and you can learn some life lessons here without a doubt. Submarines are great. I've been on a submarine while it was docked and it's a museum. I went in and out. Yes, I think you're right. Freddie Garcia, 2-5 Golf Company, 2007, Iraq. What's up, Freddie? That was a good one. That was a great deployment. 2-5. The most highly decorated battalion in the Marine Corps. 5th Marines, retreat hell. Good to see you, Freddie. What are you doing? You going to meet us in Philadelphia 300 days from now? Philly. Just because I have an AARP doesn't mean I'm a senior citizen yet.
I think it does.
I kind of think it does. I think that is one of the requirements for you to get AARP. So yes, if you can get into a senior citizen trailer park, you can purchase there, then yes, you meet the requirement. David Bryant was the youngest 2 years in a row. Man, it's got to be cool, especially as the youngest. Frank Oliveris, will you have the live broadcast from there? Producer, we're going to live broadcast from there, Ton Tavern, 300 days from now? She pretend like she didn't hear it. Yes, of course we will. We're going to live broadcast from Ton Tavern, 100%.
We're looking at a Starlink. Whoever suggested Starlink, they're genius.
Whoever suggested Starlink, you're a genius. And that's that program where we can live broadcast from anywhere? Yes, we'll find out. We're going to live broadcast the whole trip. Should have a live show and have all of us as special guests. 100%, Doc. You guys are going to line up. It's going to be an all-nighter, you know, for one. You're old enough for AARP Sergeant Major. I'm waiting for that to come in the mail. Don't you have to be a certain age, like Cookie? I keep avoiding that one. It says my name and it looks like it's for me, but I can live in a 55-plus park because I have 2 minor children. Oh, you can't live because you have 2 minor children. You're in the Army because if you are, thank you for everything that you've been doing for us. We're Marines here, Andrew Era. But yes, service members can't. Right? I know what you meant, Jared. You can't. U.S. Navy retired here in downtown Nashville. R.E. White Consulting. Welcome aboard. How's Nashville, by the way? Yeah, it's in the producers' top 3. We have a great family friends from Tennessee. The Smith family. They haven't been on here in a while. How is it? And welcome, U.S. Navy retired. Shipmate, join us. Like and subscribe. Hang out with us. And you can join us at Ton Tavern next year. Nice shirt, Era. We're there. I'm telling you, Lay Cookie, we're going. Need to get Brownie and Robles there too. Sergeant Major's older than me, just so everyone knows. I don't know, Jared. I was old and decrepit. What's your experience with the Canadian military? I've been in combat with Canada. There's Canadian Marines, I think, no, I don't remember them in Somalia, but definitely Desert Storm. Either Iraq, Afghanistan. Not a whole lot. Been to Canada a few times. Support your local veteran-owned businesses. Amen, Sniper Freak. 100%. Can you put a couple of them out there? Do you mind?
What?
Veteran-owned businesses?
I missed it.
He's just Sniper Freak reminding everybody to support. See that American flag back there over my right shoulder? A&C Metalworks. Check it out. We got one in the works. Lay Cookie, no pressure. We're waiting on that new one to come in. That is AC Metalworks right over my shoulder. Amazing piece of art. And it does look better with the light shining on it. But it has a gloss of paint on it that is truly amazing. Love it. I'm bringing Top Haskell with me. 5th in Vietnam. Top Haskell, bring them. I'm telling you, can you imagine the veterans that are going to be there? It was all over LinkedIn, I think is where we saw that post. Or was it a YouTube post? We saw it, groundbreaking. And they're still working on it, and they broke ground November 10th this year, right? They're still raising funds for it as well. There's one, veteran-owned business, ancmetalworks.com. That's our boy Lay Cookie. Did that flag right behind, some amazing stuff. Go to the website, check it out. Some amazing, amazing work done with metal. Good evening, Joy. We have moderators. Thanks, Ben Soccer. I got a bit of, yeah, it's okay every now and then. If one kind of, Jordan, I love you on this channel because of like-minded people who love to be motivated. That's what it's all about. When people ask what's this channel about, the best thing is just to hang out for a few minutes and check it out, what we do and what we're all about. And that is it. Like-minded people serving each other still. I retired years ago, but still want to serve. Remember the guys that say, let it go, man. You're not a Marine anymore. One, I like to relate it to a mechanic. Let's say a mechanic. Mechanic your whole life. For 35 years, you're a mechanic. Then you retired. Do you stop working on cars? No. That's your life. This is our life. Hear those chopper blades? Yes. I got you. I hear them. Good evening. What do you think the worst MOS to have in the Corps? There are no bad MOSs in the Corps. Depends on what you do, what you want to do. But remember, you're a rifleman first. Every Marine a rifleman. 100%. The job you choose is secondary to what you do. Granted, you'll be doing that more, but every Marine a rifleman. What is a bad MOS? I don't know, but if you think it's a bad MOS, don't pick it. Do some research, find out what you want to do. What is the best? O3, of course. No, it depends on what you want to do, how you want to serve your time in the Corps. Want to set yourself up for life after? If you're already thinking of that, absolutely. Some kind of technology, mechanic. Started out as an engineer, and by virtue of rank and as a first sergeant sergeant major, I spent a lot of time in the infantry. I like to think the second half of my career was in the infantry. Absolutely loved it. Maybe we can fast rope into 250th birthday. Many ways. Right there, 1371 was a blast. Combat engineer, it is a wide MOS where you do from construction to destruction to base units to division. It is very wide open if you don't like doing one thing. If you pick an MOS that you want to be in an office, sit behind a desk, be a Remington Raider is what they used to be called, a Pogue, then that's on you. So it depends on what you want to do. I don't think there's a bad MOS. Sign me up for the fast rope. No disrespect, just incredible hours on your feet, etc. That's something you got to think about too. Syria, hello. Once a Marine, always a Marine. Semper Fi Marines. Ray, nailed it, buddy. And I hear those chopper blades coming in as well. It is about time to land this helicopter. Another great night, Monday night. We did it for a couple different reasons, but so glad everyone joined us tonight. We talked about holiday and times. Times are great. Times can also be hard for some. Keep that in the back of your mind. Keep those special people close to you. Great time for buddy checks, buddy checks, buddy checks, buddy checks. Not just sending the meme of a Santa in with an M16, but also make that phone call, make sure everybody's okay. Talked about the pay raise. That was great. I'm very happy about the pay raise for the E4 and below. An additional 10%, along with the 4.5%. Accountability and complacency, we could talk about it every time. We reminisced a little bit about the green monster and what it can turn into and how it could help you in your career as a leader. Should be mandatory, right? Blacked out the socials. All the information you need, leader's handbook, leader's guide, leadership tool, not just your cell phone. That's going to run out. Your battery's going to run out. You don't take your cell phone to combat. You take your leader's notebook to combat. Great things, great night. Appreciate every one of you. Excuse me. A great show. Sunday. Our next show for sure will be Sunday. I normally say a week from today, but a week from yesterday, Sunday Night Live. Hope to see you all there. Have an amazing week. Be aggressive, be safe, but be aggressive. Semper Fi, my friends. Era.